Hi, my name is Leslie Williams. Today's date is December 5th, 2011. And I'm making this digital audio file today to help you understand what they might do in reference to Social Security. All you got to do is go to Google and type in Social Security and gang stalking. If this video stops and while I'm talking, it'll be because the batteries ran out. What they do is they basically go after people on disability, the elderly, single women, single mothers, and they also go after other types of people, like they have trust funds and they're into land co-opting, property co-opting, and so what are they going to do with a target like me, who knows every single aspect of how they operate, what they're into, who they use in order to get things done, like the police and the fire department, EMS, social services, county mental health, and hospital doctors, hospital administrative staff, Social Security workers. They know I know everything. They know that I have figured it all out based on experience and extensive education. So they know I know it. They are also aware that I have information in reference to an actual gang stalker who went offline, typed in who they are, how they operate, who they're connected to, and what they're all about. And that information was found online, and then once it was posted online by a gang stalker who made the manifesto. Then he went to an internet cafe and posted it online, and it spread like wildfire. So they are aware that I know who they are. They are aware I know who they are based on experience. I'm talking about direct physical participation by the San Diego Police Department and Fire Department EMS personnel. So understand this and be clear. What they're going to try and attempt to do to me is, I was supposed to get reviewed by Social Security in September. They waited until October to send in the disability review papers. They sent one in on October 7th and the second one on October 14th. The first one on the 7th had 30 calendar days for me to fill out and send it back to them. I filled it out and sent it back to them on the 11th, 4 days later. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 4 days. Then they turned around and sent me another one on the 14th, which was 1 week to the day they sent me the first one, which I had 30 calendar days to send the first one in. Why did they do this? Well, I believe their goal was this, because gang stalking expeditions try to make it look like what's happening to a target are normal appearing mishaps. Like if your mail gets lost, they actually steal it and then claim that it's the United States mail. What do you expect? These are the type of excuses they use to make it look like it was just a normal appearing mishap. Go to Google and type in gang stalking and mail theft and mail delayment, gang stalking, and postal employees. Now, I don't usually talk with my hands like this. I don't usually make videos either. So I guess I'm learning a little bit about me, especially because I have an attitude right now. I don't show my attitude towards the people they use against me every day, because I'm not going to let them suck me into any type of provocations. But I'm all alone right now making this video, so I guess, I'm more comfortable with, explaining everything in detail. So what they're going to do is they've already sent me a letter saying that at this time they don't feel like they have any reason to investigate me further, and so for my review, so as a result they're not going to contact my doctor. That was based on the October 7th one. What are they going to do in reference to the October 14th one? Are they going to say that they sent me some information for me to follow up on, and then since mail theft and mail delayment is used, I never get what they say they sent me, and as a result, nothing. I don't end up going to a doctor that they supposedly sent a letter for me to go to, and then as a result, they use that and say, well, you did not do what you were supposed to based on your disability review, and so therefore we're taking out Social Security. Then they can turn around later and say, well, and then all I have to say is that, well, you had already got in both review papers, and you had already told me that Social Security is not going to continue the review based on the October 7th one. See, what they did was they wanted to make it appear that the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing in reference to the second one, the October 14th one. Then they go around turning use excuse saying that they sent me something, I didn't follow up on what they sent me, and as a result they're going to take me out of Social Security. This is what they do in the maneuvering. It's called a shell game. And the reason why they do this is because in order for to get me to run to them so they can contain me, to exploit me, they have to create financial destitution. Because they're infested in the system. Social services, county mental health, the police, the fire department, hospital staff in relation to the doctors that they work with and administrative staff at hospitals, because that's where the Medicare fraud comes in at. But they got it, since they know I'm exposing them, they got to find a way to contain me. And the only way they can do that, because they see I'm not running to them for any kind of help. Why? Because I'm still on Social Security. So they got to take the Social Security away, which means they got to develop a scheme to do it. Now, understand this. They figure that if they take the Social Security away, I'll eventually have to run to them based on that I'll run out of money. Okay? Then I'll have to run to them for help. And that's where they're infested in. Then that's when they start all the documentation that I'm supposedly mentally ill, paranoid schizophrenia, or schizophrenia, bipolar, or that I suffer from dementia, or whatever, because it's all over the internet. That's what gang stalkers do. It's all over the internet. In fact, the manifesto itself says that that's how, like, if a syndicate member wants to leave the syndicate, he's first got to be deliberately discredited and diagnosed with schizophrenia. In case he decides to expose any secrets about the syndicate, they can discredit him by calling him crazy. It literally states it right in the manifesto. So my name is Leslie Williams, and I'm explaining how they're going to try and operate to get me to go to them. Because if they come to me and try to physically break down what I got left, and then try to exploit me later, I can say this person aided and abetted in bringing all this about. So they got to get me to come to them. Okay, and then I go to them, and then they continue the gang stalking expeditions going on towards me along my routes, the physical assaults, the robberies, the stealing of my clothes, and what I used for shelter. They start stealing all that while I'm away from these items, okay, so I don't have that stuff to depend on. Then I got to run to the system. Then while I'm in the midst of all that, they continue the assaults, the extreme harassment, and it's all done, all this stuff is done together, combined to break me down, to get me to run to them. Or call 911. I call 911, they come and pick me up, because through the stalking, they know I'm calling 911. Research the homepage at www.gangstalkerworld.com. It says it flat out that everywhere the target goes, the community in large is 100% notified. So they know where a target is at all times. That's how they implement stalking so well, and the harassment so well, okay? And so through the knowledge that they know a target's calling 911, they get on the phone and call their syndicated EMS, their syndicated fire department EMS, or privately owned EMS workers who are also part of gang stalking expeditions. They come and take a target like me to the hospital. I tell them that I'm being stalked, I'm being gang stalked, and the ones that are notified at the hospital say they act like they listen. Then they turn around and put you on a psychiatric floor. And then they get their syndicated doctors to come in. They'll pretend like they're listening to you, and then they hold a meeting. They pretend like they're listening to you. You walk away, and 2 days later, you find out on the medical records that they diagnosed you with paranoid schizophrenic. And this is all done for 3 reasons: 1, to bilk Medicare out of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars while I'm there. 2, to make it look like why they're bilking Medicare has a justified reason by giving me a false diagnosis. And 3, to discredit me for containment, because what they want to do is keep accumulating this documentation over time as a result of me living through the extreme hardships and destitution that's created because they took my Social Security away. Then once all this documentation is accumulated, they combine it with a huge event to get me to stand before that will bring me before an eventual syndicated judge, or a judge who will have the file handed to him that's got all this falsified documentation. He makes me a ward of the state. That file then gets pipelined to a syndicated member who will come in that's already in the system that will take legal power of attorney of me. Then once they get legal power of attorney for me, they reapply for Social Security benefits in my name. And then that's when they exploit you in the syndicated group home. They break you down and stage assaults in these homes and then blame you for it to make it look like they have a legitimate excuse to put you in the hospital so they can bilk the Medicare again. Okay? They have you physically assaulted in these homes, literally sexually assaulted, including in your sleep, because they got these. Remember this: they're attached to doctors, anesthesiologists. They can get a hold of ether just like that. I heard one of them talking about it one day, literally. Okay? And they come in a target's room when they're sleeping, and they put this stuff over their mouth, and while they're knocked out, they'll have men come in and have sex with them. And if you don't believe they don't go to these lengths, you should see that movie Trade. In that movie Trade, when they're abducting women, they shoot them up. So and what do you think Roofer is all about? I've been investigating that online. Because they don't care if women are knocked down or not, they just want the sex. So the whole goal for them is to, and then they also, through the power of attorney, take over the monthly paycheck of the Social Security. Okay? Google 4 mentally disabled women, or 4 mentally disabled adults kept in a basement in Philadelphia. This is how they operate. Okay? They break people's lives down that are on disability in order to get a hold of them to exploit what they got, to exploit everything they got: the body, the monthly paycheck, and the Medicare. And this is what they do. And since they're syndicated within the system, think about it. How can they get a hold of a target like me? How did that woman get a hold of those 4 mentally disabled people and kept them for 11 years? And she had identification of 50 other people that were on disability. This is how they operate. Okay? They're not creating staged vehicle accidents so a target doesn't have anything to sleep in once they create the homelessness. They do that by stealing their rent checks, by bribing and working in conjunction with landlords, by bribing them, intimidating them, because they got power positions in the community, like in the housing department. They'll threaten to have a city inspector come out and say, well, we're going to inspect your home to see if it's up to code. And if it ain't up to code, you got to invest all this money to bring your house up to code, or we might raise your taxes. Let me tell you something right now. If you don't think the average citizen is not afraid of city inspectors coming out to their homes or screwing around with them, think again. And when you look at how landlords operate, whether it be an apartment building or a house where they're renting an upper or lower flat, let me tell you something. These people make up their houses so they can rent these apartments and flats. And they do it so they can get the mortgage paid. And if the city inspector, somebody who's part of GangStalked Expeditions, if he's a syndicated member of these organized crime groups, comes and says, look, I got a badge here. You know what my power position already is. We're after this woman for this and that, because they engage in huge slander campaigns. And what they'll say is, we're trying to get her out of our community because she's involved in this or that and this. But really what they're trying to do is break women's lives down by using these excuses to get the landlord's cooperation to evict the target. Then they prevent the target from getting any apartment anywhere they go, because they're stalked and surveilled about what they're doing and what they're attempting to do. Okay? And then what they'll do is use their power positions in the community to call up a landlord and say, look, I know this woman filled out an application for the renting apartment. She's an undesirable. She's this, she's that. Do not rent to her because she's under investigation. And this is how they work. Go to YouTube and type in "listen to a stranger." It clearly shows that they use fake badges and their power positions in the community to exploit the vulnerable. Okay, to create these circumstances that are that generate nothing but extreme destitution, because it's the destitution they want to take advantage of by saying target is homeless, they can't take care of themselves. Okay, they got Social Security but they're homeless. Why aren't they having a place? Why aren't they going to a homeless shelter? In a homeless shelter, you got fellow clients that have no money. So all they do is see that a person has been going to a homeless shelter, and what they'll do is buy off the fellow clients to get them to harass the target in ways that the target's already been harassed, to make a target feel that no matter where they go, they're going to be harassed in the same exact way. That's how targets end up feeling stalked, because they're getting people they don't know on their path every single day, different people, but each person is told to harass a target in the same way they were harassed the day before by different people. That's where the gaslighting tactics come in at, the sensitization tactics. They'll sensitize the target to specific physical gestures and then have different people every day put along their path. Here's one right now with its headlights on. Okay? They're huge into driving around and making sure a target feels like they're being stalked by having people ride by them with their low beams on, their taillights on, or their high beams on. And that's all done to make a target feel like no matter where you go, we're going to be there. Okay? They're just individuals that are deliberately put along your path to make you feel stalked. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and end this digital audio film. My name is Leslie Williams. I am literally just like one of those individuals that was kept in a basement in Philadelphia. Same syndicate. And all they're doing is using the power positions in the community to tell lies and spread lies about people in order to get them to harass me for them in a cost-effective manner. Okay, because the harassment is about breaking the target down, and when they break down, that's in part where they make the money in the beginning by the Medicare fraud through the syndicated doctors, because when you break down, they call 911, they pipeline you to the syndicated doctor. I gotta stop this video file now so it can be downloaded to YouTube. December 5th, 2011.